Okay, so top 10 centers now. Again, centers very fun. Do some offensive linemen, giving the offensive linemen some love. I thought about just doing a list of top 10 offensive linemen, but I was like, let's break it down. Let's give them a little bit more love. Why not? No one ever talks about them unless it's in a negative context. So a couple honorable mentions. Chase, I'm not sure if it's pronounced Roller or Rollier. I'm not exactly sure, but for Washington, had a very good season last year. Honorable mention. I just want to see it for a little bit longer before I put him in the top 10. And Ryan Jensen, very good. I think he's a bit overhyped. I think playing for Tampa Bay, he gets a little bit more attention, but he's solid. He's a good player. Not as good as people who I'm going to put in the top 10, however. So number 10, David Andrews for New England. Again, been there for a minute. Very good player. I do always feel like when talking about offensive linemen, I kind of run out of stuff to say sometimes. So I don't want to just say this guy blocks well for every single one, but we'll see how it goes. Ryan Kelly at number 9 for Indianapolis. I'll go a little bit quicker through these just to give my list. But Ryan Kelly for Indianapolis, again, another guy who's been good for a while. Same thing of who I have at number 8, which is Jason Kelsey out of Philadelphia. Not out of Philadelphia, plays for Philadelphia. He's a little bit lower just because he has had some injuries, and that's not injuries, but he's getting older. But that's the main thing. It's just the age is a bit of a concern. They did draft a potential replacement, so you'd have to figure he might be on his last legs, but at least as of right now, is still very good. Number 7, I have the young guy from New Orleans, Eric McCoy, who, has been very good when he's on the field for the New Orleans Saints. I also have Brandon Linder, who no one really talks about from Jacksonville, who, again, why would you talk about Jacksonville center? Like, how often is that coming up in a conversation? But maybe it should come up more because he's really good. I think that he's someone who had an awesome year last year, and I expect him to be, part of what could potentially help protect Trevor Lawrence. Now, the tackles might not help it as much, but at least you have Linder who that can help to some degree. Number 5, I'm going with, this is kind of a guy who I think I'm going to have higher on than other people might, but I'm going with Ben Jones from Tennessee. Ben Jones has been kind of just a beacon of, not a beacon of light, but like just a pillar for the Tennessee Titans for quite some time now. And I think that he does a lot very well. And again, you talk about a center potentially being like the captain of the offensive line. Well, this is an offensive line that seemingly never gets fooled. So part of that probably goes on Ben Jones, I would assume, along with Ryan Tannehill. He helps, of course, and, the entire offensive coaching staff, of course. But Ben Jones does a lot very well. And more importantly, he blocks well, which is why he's a top 5 center, in my opinion. Number 4, I have Frank Ragnall from the Detroit Lions. And I love how the Lions are building this offensive line unit with, you have Decker on one side, Sewell on the other, Ragnall in the middle. The guards might not be as good, but you know what? If you can get those 3 positions locked, well, then you can kind of, get whatever guard you want in there. And with the less room, you're going to have a little bit more success. So I like Ragnall there for the Detroit Lions a lot. I have him at number 4. JC Tretter from Cleveland, I have at number 3. A lot of Cleveland Browns ended up making all of these individual lists. They had, a cup. I believe they had 1 or 2 guards. I can't remember. They had both guards. Just checked it. They had a tackle who was in my honorable mentions. Didn't quite make it. Conklin almost made it. And now Tretter makes it. So, 3 on the list, another 1 in the honorable mentions. That's a ridiculous offensive line. And he does a lot very well with them. Number 2, I have a guy who's actually, interestingly enough, number 2 and 1 both changed teams this offseason. Rodney Hudson, I don't know why the Raiders gave up on him. He's the second best center, in my opinion. He's not going to play for Arizona. I guess people say he doesn't run block well enough. That's not what I see. I see a good run blocker, and he's incredible in pass protection. So I don't know. I think he'll fit that system well. I think he is really good. He's not Corey Linsley, who I have at number 1. I think Linsley, maybe Hudson was better in his prime. Hudson is a little bit older, so I have Linsley at number 1. Linsley can just do it all. I kind of feel like he's the undisputed number 1 center in the league right now. He is. I've been watching a lot of hockey lately, so when I just said number 1 center, it made me think of hockey. But he is that guy who is, he's the best center in the league, in my opinion. Green Bay, a lot of people criticized, why do you pay Aaron Jones and let Linsley walk? I think it's a fair question because Lindsey's really good. And the Chargers said, thank you very much. We will take one best center in football. We appreciate that. So like that move from them. That's my list. Top 10 centers. Again, not going too crazy because there's only so much you can say about centers, but that's what my list is. Let me know how you would change things. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.